at a time. On this show, no topic is swept aside. We are unfiltered and we are intentional. We bring you experts from across the continent and the world. Voices that know, voices that live the African experience, voices that are shaping the next chapter of our story. Let your spirit rise. We don't just tell Africa's story, we own it. Join Joy Asonye on Razep Africa, Monday to Friday at 11 a.m. to 12 noon on Global Television. Welcome to Razep Africa, the heartbeat of the continent in one show. Here, we celebrate Africa not as a headline, but as a home full of ideas, courage, flavor, and future. This is where we talk about everything Africa. The politics that shape our nations, the innovations that shift our economies, the culture that colors our lives, the challenges we face with honesty, and the victories we are building one story at a time. On this show, no topic is swept aside. We are unfiltered and we are intentional. We bring you experts from across the continent and the world. Voices that know, voices that live the African experience, voices that are shaping the next chapter of our story. Let your spirit rise. We don't just tell Africa's story, we own it. Join Joy Asonye on Razep Africa, Monday to Friday at 11 a.m. to 12 noon on Global Television.
Welcome back from that short break. It's time to get into that interview that I promised earlier. As Nigeria's ruling party, the All Progressives Congress, gathers for its national convention, the decisions taken today would reverberate far beyond party lines. They will shape the political landscape heading into the 2027 general elections. This convention comes at a critical time when Nigeria's last general election in 2023 recorded a voter turnout of just 26.7%, one of the lowest in the country's democratic history, reflecting growing voter apathy and declining public trust. Local elections, including the 2026 FCT area council polls, have also been marred by low turnout, vote buying concerns, and questions around transparency, reinforcing again fears that the credibility of future elections may be at risk. Now, at the same time, over 1.2 million Nigerians have newly registered to vote in 2026 and subsequent elections, showing that despite skepticism, there is still a strong desire for participation. If the system can guarantee fairness beyond politics and party politics, rather, key national issues such as state policing, electoral integrity, and internal party democracy and security architecture are now central to the conversations about credible election. So the big question now is, can political parties, now especially the APC, rebuild trust, strengthen democratic institutions, and deliver elections Nigerians can truly believe in? That's the question. I still have Unyima Aniete right here in the studio, but we're being joined now by Comrade Duke Alamboye. He is the Executive Director of Green Assembly Initiative. Thank you so much for being part of the program.
Thank you very much, Judge, for having me. I think I'm seeing you for the first time this year.
Yeah, I've not seen you in a very long time. To think we used to be friends. It's good to see you today.
Thank you for taking us to Africa.
Exactly. It's time to discuss Africa, but first of all, we're bringing the conversation right here to Nigeria, where again this convention is expected to shape 2027, and we just talked about the voter apathy. I guess my first question would be, how do internal parties, in your perspective, translate into national democratic outcomes, and do Nigerians even know how important it is to get involved and understand how these national conventions turn out?
Well, unfortunately, I want to appreciate the fact that you started our discussion pointing out voter apathy, because without the people, democracy is described as a government of the people, for the people and by the people. But unfortunately, in our country, we're not seeing the instrumentality of political party vehicle that is supposed to move politics into the right direction, engage the people, may bring out representations, and make the people have a choice by way of elections. It's saddening that the political parties we have today do not really believe on the people's vote. It supposes itself anyway, but taking it from the angle of political parties, you can see from 2023 elections down to this moment, political parties are busy with gladiators. They are busy with how they can influence the electoral institutions. They don't really bother about convincing the populace, and this is enshrined as obvious in everything they do as political party. Mm-hmm. Even the primaries, internal political party structures that they constitute, you see that they are all consensus values. You're not seeing a party structure that is totally brought by the people, the membership of the political party.
Right.
So the gladiators or the actors, the key actors in the party, still come together to appoint people that will man this position. So the whims and caprices of these few elites in the political space still determine who and what happens in the political space. So if you translate this to the generality of our Nigerian politics, I still think there's a lot to do. The confidence that is supposed to be given to the people are not yet getting to the people because of influencing, because they have the characteristic of influencing the political institutions.
Absolutely.
Political parties, the INEC institutions, security institutions. Yesterday, we're in a program, a security program held by past DSS personnel, and it was quite engaging. The INEC chairman was there, and the man that gave the keynote address, that's Professor Mike Minimum, something like that. It made justice to the political deterioration in this country, and it's sad. And we must have these concerns. Every year, if you look at the statistics, every year we went into election, voter apathy kept increasing in a significant number. They're making justice to the FCT election, nailing it as a peaceful election. I don't want to believe that the FCT election was peaceful. The FCT election was an election that was
mad by party. I mean, a lot of people
and an organized election.
Exactly.
It was an organized election. So
well, that's in your opinion, of course.
But let me ask, because it is very necessary. Even though that Joy had already started, I would have probably loved to begin to know if you're a party man.
Well, by the virtue of politics, if you're concerned in Nigerians' growth and governance,
are you a card carrying?
I'm not a card carrying member. Yeah, that's
Okay.
right.
Okay.
But I'm a party man, because at the end of the day,
When you made that's very indicting.
Yes,
That's very indicting because of the dynamism.
Yes,
the dynamism of the Nigerian political.
I'm not a card carrying member of any political party. By the virtue of my participation and my belief in that democracy must thrive in our country, I must be partisan. At the end of the day,
we have to ask, if everyone decides to be partisan, how then would you influence the change that you
So now, what I mean is that the system we have in our country is based on party. It's a party system we have. So you may not necessarily, if you like for instance, you like Joy Asoye contested for House of Rep, you don't have the grounds to say you're going
Why
to vote.
didn't you do the example like for presidency?
You know, okay, for presidency.
Thank you.
You're already a president. So okay, so for instance, Joy Asoye is contesting for presidency. You do not have the grounds to say you're going to vote Joy Asoye. You're just going to look for a party and go vote for the party. That makes you partisan. So if you asked in an electoral ground to say, who are you voting? You say you're voting for party X for presidency. So it makes everybody at the end of the day partisan. Partisanship does not really mean that you're involved, you're serious involvement, but of course they are not individual candidates in our country. You must vote for a party. That is why what we are trying to do now with our constituency is looking at credible candidates and vote them at every strata. Nobody belongs to APC, nobody belongs to PDP. Even the gladiators, they begin to play that kind of politics. They don't belong to parties, they belong to good governance.
How does that strengthen democratic ideals? Because we keep having this conversation. The political party is a very important tool in the
whole process.
In the entire process. We've had during the just concluded general elections. I was all over criticizing the method at which during primaries there was this concept that was just almost embraced overboard. The concept of consensus. So viable candidates come, the cabal sits and say, you know what, not your turn just yet. These are such trends that if you are not a member of such political parties, you would help disenfranchise those who truly have what it takes to come and serve. And so it concerns me a lot. And if you are not a part of political process, you would also not agree not to go vote. I did a vox pop and did a report around FCT during the just concluded FCT local government area council polls, and the conversation was always, they already know who would emerge.
Exactly.
Yes, that is how disillusioned Nigerians are and distrustful of the process. But if they already know who they would emerge, do you know the numbers would not allow that happen?
Yeah.
If we have a sizable number of people who have voted, it will be very difficult to
I want to agree with you completely.
Your analysis, don't have a choice.
Your analysis quite expressed the popular view an average Nigerian have. But at what tendency, at what level? We don't have as a populace. Look, we were on the streets in National Assembly trying to protect our political sovereignty, trying to ensure that there's a differential from 2023 to 2027 elections. But you can also see that the instruments are not with us. Even the police that suffers this at the end of the day, bad governance, we're not with the civil society. At what point, I'm coming, please, I'm just trying to get to the root of what your analysis are. At what point do you think that an online Nigeria, the civil society, let me quote, would push forward? While we're doing this protest at the National Assembly, how many of the political leaders came out in their numbers, political party members, came out there to say, look, we are waging in support of civil societies? Few of them came there and just made headlines to the newspapers. At the end of the day, they have followership. Why are they mobilizing? Today, the APC have mobilized over 8,000 delegations to Abuja. If they could do that, Can't the opposition parties mobilize 8,000 persons for us to defend the electoral laws that will govern our electoral system?
So are you of the opposition party now?
So no, it's not about party thing. It's about getting democracy. See, we have to differentiate getting our democracy right and governance. We have a principle. Once governance comes in, anybody has won election, we now go into governance. Right. So areas you're doing well, we applaud you. Areas you're not doing well, we criticize you. This is election period. So every Nigerian is concerned whether who should continue and who shouldn't continue. So it's a different ball game. You have a closet of 4 years or 3 years to run and give Nigerians a progressive governance.
Right.
I don't think that anybody, quote me, I don't think anybody will come and give Nigeria a best governance. Progressive governance, meaning that we are leaving struggle A into redemption, gradual redemption of whatever aspect of the society or whatever aspect of the economy we want to stimulate. Today, the contestants, the candidates are not even, there is no campaign strategy to say this is what we've done. It is about the institutions. It's about who owns INEC. It's about who owns the security agencies.
Okay, so this is I like where this conversation has gone to, where again the distrust. Ideally, in all parts of the world, somebody must man the electoral commission, the electoral or the umpire that coordinates elections. Why is it so difficult for Nigerians, to support and align with the electoral umpire? You just made a statement that it seems we are whoever has control of the umpire. But how can we get to that point where these institutions, like the umpire, runs on a system that does not depend on the whims and caprices of
the laws,
public office holders?
Join the laws. If the law stipulates that INEC should punish offenders, if not, the law stipulates gives powers to INEC to run their projects, you will see the level of independence.
Is the law not giving them?
So many stimulations. It gives them where they can go back to the judiciary, which is also one other problem I've not touched. See, in time past, Nigerians are worried. The man that gave this, Professor Mike yesterday, gave us the analysis from analog paper voting. They decided as INEC, what do they do to improve voter apathy? People are complaining that there are dead men's names, dead women's names, dead electorate names on their
minors.
Yeah, minors.
But that had been
filtered
off. Okay.
Now they graduated from there. For them to even get that right, they had to forcefully see President Jonathan. For that to take place, that they should go into electronics,
election process.
Yes, to get all the membership, and that eliminated dead persons and all of that in the system. Now, vote electronically. They've gone into beavers and whatever. Do you know that he said to us yesterday that a whole community, there was an option of if the beavers are not working, they do manual. The whole community in that voting environment all did manual. All of a sudden, nobody's fingerprint works. So who are the people influencing this? They are the politicians that does this. Because there's an option of manual, the whole of the community, nobody fingerprints worked again.
So they went for manual.
So these are the level of manipulations we have. See, the theoretical aspect of what we are discussing is quite different from when it comes to practical.
Oh, right. And
now, let me also tell you. So that's why I said that politics today now is beginning to be not what you've done. Their manifesto do not count. Till now, that they are doing primaries, we're not hearing, even the opposition party is not talking about manifesto. What you are hearing from the opposition party, for instance, ADC, is let us remove Tinubu.
And we
why should we remove Tinubu? We don't know.
Okay, so before we get
Tinubu wants to continue as president. The APC wants to Tinubu continue. What have they done? What do they want to do for the
Nobody's
questioning it. Rather, their concern is how they can get all the gladiators within state level that can influence the elections.
Absolutely.
John, let me just hold you. Let's stay still on INEC. Because I think since they're actually the election umpire, then they should have so much to do with who votes, who wins, who they declare. But, it comes to a certain point where the president has the power to name who becomes the man in charge of INEC. Now, owing to that, would we ever have a good, free, fair election in Nigeria with the president having to appoint who sits at the helm of affairs of INEC?
Yes, it's possible. Number one, mindset. The day the mindset of INEC changes from he who
pays the piper
dictates the tune. So you've appointed me here. I have to do the job as stipulated by law. Ab initio, to even straighten the law that will make the man you are appointing favorable, generally accepted by the people's view, is difficult. Because you have majority of these persons that want to return their parties at the end of affairs. You saw how it took, the time it took to deliberate on little reforms that have been identified on the electoral laws. So it makes even the man, an angel that sits on INEC,
right,
begins to become a devil to the system.
Okay, so
this is what we're witnessing.
I want us to.
So the man yesterday, I saw him speak, and I pity for him.
Right. No, but we need to
because
we need to address something.
He's sitting on where he is going to be largely influenced by the law that governs him.
Comrade,
I'm not even talking about interference here.
Comrade Duke, we have a semi-literate population where a lot of Nigerians do not even know where INEC's role ends and begins.
Okay.
And we also have
in Nigeria.
No,
I don't want to say that.
It's absolutely. So there are instances where you expect INEC to have powers to enact certain things, and it is beyond INEC. I remember during the past elections, and there were intimidations, and the security agents were there, and they said, "Oh, INEC was culpable in accepting intimidations." And I was like, "Do you even know the role that INEC plays?" There were several people who flouted the law, and they expected INEC to run with it. There were times when the judiciary should take over from where INEC stops in their jobs. So, how important do you think we should invest and prioritize voter education? And our electorate must even understand what their roles are. Because I've had conversations, I've done Vox Pop, I've done reports, where the electorate don't even know as much as we come here and sit, because you and I have the access to resources and information. We expect that everyone knows. You just mentioned that you got to a certain community, just all of a sudden accepted to use the manual. They had rights. They had rights to insist that the electronic is fixed.
Exactly.
If that constituent had to change the date of the elections for the right thing to be done, they had the right to do that. They had the right to boycott and say, we petition until the right thing is done. But that goes back into voter education. How much should we prioritize? Do political parties understand that the ball rest on their shoulders to ensure political education?
It is when you are convinced. Let me look at this, for instance, of a father training children. It is the belief the parents have on child's a generational change that we have done to X, our children can do to Y, but they put in resources for that. It's a belief, a strong belief. It's also a strong belief that parents say, no, we've done ours. This is where we stop. When they grow, they should take their responsibility for adulthood.
Right.
INEC is a trinity stuff. I want to say INEC, the security, and the judiciary holds true, free, fair, and credible elections. So because we have the post and the pre-election activities, and then this giving a clear, good atmosphere for electorates. But again, I am telling you that political parties do not believe. Joy, we've seen elections where 3 accreditations, 700 voters. This is what what INEC gets. So why is INEC not saying no to this? So this is where political parties manipulate elections. In first instance, I believe so. They don't, for now, political parties do not believe in, mostly when you're in power. Mostly the political parties that are in power, they don't believe in the votes. If they do, good governance will be at the tip of whatever they do.
Okay, before
now, because they don't believe in the people,
Comrade,
all they want to do is to determine who does election in their constituents.
We'll come back.
Okay, yeah, we'll come back to that. But it's time to now talk about, because security remains a major determinant of voter outcomes, and a lot of people have said when you have the state policing, which is something you've been advocating for, if you the dynamics will change during elections, because now you know that there's some sort of patriotism when this person is ensuring votes in his own constituency. What's your take on the elections that are coming? It's in less than a year now. February was announced, so it's less than a year now, and state policing talks is still where it is at the moment.
And meanwhile, just before you get into answer, do you think that the whole state policing discussions, as far as Nigeria is concerned, is now a weapon for politics? It only comes up just when it's
the election period. Exactly.
Well, the essence of state policing is also belated in our country. And in as much as I agree with people that are insinuating that it could be used for political gains, I still believe the essence for state policing is far beyond a political usage. Nigerians to drop the idea of political. After all, this morning I was asking my friend a question. I said, if you argue that way, are the politicians not using the federal police assistance today? Have we, as the country, crumpled out of place? So, state policing, the essence of state policing is apt. I want to congratulate the new IGP who have taken a stand to ensure that the processes are right. They are models. There are countries this state policing are practiced and they are getting it correctly. Nigerians should take that models and study those models.
I mean, but it's quite concerning. You must also
I agree with you because of the corrupt
mind. So what strategic framework should we put in place? Because we keep saying
state policing shouldn't be the way we are in the federal policing. State policing should not be totally left in the hands of and control of the state government.
Okay, so
there are certain crimes. No, there are certain crimes. I've taken a look to study at what's happening in the US. There are certain crimes you hand over to the federal police. There are certain crimes that do not allow the state police to intervene.
Let's not be naive here. I mean, we're talking about elections where we know how
vicious. For elections, I don't. Yes, yeah. Now, for now, yes. I agree. For now, I do not really know the role. I don't think from now to February the effectiveness of that
would come up. But I'm just saying.
But in case it comes up, I don't really know the level of involvement they will have in elections.
It shouldn't change.
So the core duty still remains protect electoral polling stations and all of that. We are Nigerians.
Really?
We are Nigerians. I
often wonder what that means.
We have the duty to.
Because I often wonder when you say we are Nigerians, I have no idea what you mean. What do you mean by Nigerians?
What I believe about my own concern about state policing is to pursue insurgency. It's not really for elections. So I'm already even trying to place where state policing should come in when it comes to election.
Okay.
I think there are certain, but I know that.
The concerning thing here is the intimidation that often happens.
Yes.
Unfettered, unabated, unaddressed, because they are controlled. These are this is an institution. You mentioned the federal police that we already have.
Duty causes. So I don't think there will be that interference, and I don't think there will be that absolute control. The IGP has
I have no idea what you mean. What do you mean by
what I believe about my own concern about state policing is to pursue insurgency. It's not really for elections. So I'm already even trying to place where state police should come in when it comes to election.
Okay.
I think there are certain, but I know that
the concerning thing here is the intimidation that often happens.
Yes.
Unfettered, unabated, unaddressed, because they are controlled. These are an institution. You mentioned the federal police that we already have, but I can also tell you that we've had instances where they, because of the how do they call it in security terms? The signal from the federal, the police stand still against the governor to say, I have a signal and I can't do this because this is what the signal says. Exactly. Now the governor now has signal. Now the governor has signal.
So I think there is direction of purpose. I think there are outlined duty causes. So I don't think there will be that interference, and I don't think there will be that absolute control. The IGP has submitted the framework. I just hope that the federal government will be very, very sincere to put it to public domain for people to also study.
So do you, in your opinion, think we should let low or keep down or die down
until after elections?
No, I don't know the fears.
The fears is that
I don't think that is possible. It's like you're saying, don't forget that they've also included the civil defense.
Exactly.
To man our elections too. So are you also going to be scared about that?
Oh yes. There are fears.
So the essence is to give more protection. Nigerians want to see, or let me say government wants to see a free and fair election.
And Comrade, I don't think you quite addressed the question I asked. What is the framework that is imbued into this? I mean, let's be broad. Let's have the broad spectrum.
Yeah.
What is the framework that gives a state policeman who is manning his constituency, his indigenous community or district, what gives him the strength to say, listen, I have been given an arbitrary command by my state governor or by the commissioner or whatever, and you know how public office holders can want to stretch them, stretch their powers. I have an arbitrary order against all the rules and all the trainings that I have received. What gives, because this has to be addressed, which is the number one concern that we have.
So that's
where the state police person would say, I have someone higher than this person, and the tenet of my training must be upheld, even though I am at the mercy of, in some way, from the state government.
So, okay, now let us even study what is the function of police in our elections.
The function is ensuring that it is a free, fair, and
give guidance,
electorate and staff.
The electorate, staff of INEC, so they don't really have a role to play in the voting process. It's just there, just to be there, to make things.
You're sounding like you live in a bubble. You're sounding like you live in a bubble. We see intimidation.
I don't think she's understanding. I don't think she's understanding what I'm saying.
We see intimidation that.
If she can allow me to finish with you, because she may not understand what I'm saying.
Okay.
Let's look at their duty without being biased. To say that.
Okay, so when you get to that point of voting process, please break it down.
Voting process, so they are there to ensure that if it is a ballot process, you take your ballot. If it's secret voting, you go to the what they call the booths, do your voting, and come back without any intimidation from anybody, political parties or whatever. And this is their duty.
They also allow and not allow vote buying. They also have the powers to allow.
So, you and I know that vote buying is not done.
Most of them, I can show you reports where individuals who have no business standing by the election are standing there, and the police know exactly what they are.
It's an allegation. That would be an allegation.
I will show you.
There's no court of law that has
I will show you reports where bags of monies are by the polling unit. What is the police allowing that for?
These are perception.
Perceptions, you say. Unfortunately,
if you say that,
we really are running out of time. So, Comrade, I want your final thoughts on the matter. Why should Nigerians care about the delegate process that's going on for the ruling party's convention? And for those listening to us and wondering, how important is it to support or not support the state policing agenda initiative?
Unfortunately, in using your words, it is what it is.
Nigerians, my words.
Yes, Nigerians are helpless when this structure, mostly the party structures, is a party thing. So it's not an hold on the Nigerian people. But we are watching. We've seen that the zonal primaries all the processes took consensus. All the 6 zones went on consensus, and I'm sure today into tomorrow we'll still see consensus. So this means that the powers of the people are not yet upheld. When you have representations that come together and do what belongs to them, you know that these are not the popular view of the millions of Nigerians that belongs to the APC.
So just before you end, should Nigerians be concerned about this APC?
Party members should be concerned. Party members, because it is not sure that all APC governors and the contestants are going to win the election. So first instance, the party members should be concerned. If the process is good enough for them,
thank you so
much.
On
state policing, I think we should please tool down the insinuation on political usage to national security.
Okay. So Comrade, we will have to bring you back to discuss more. And thank you so much for being part of the program. We really have run out of time. Aniete, thank you so much for being part of the show. Comrade Duke Alamboye is the Executive Director of Green Assembly Initiative and has been part of this conversation. Ultimately, the journey to 2027 is not just about decided on the election day, but political actors' decisions that follow to that point. So, on that note, we say thank you so much for being part of the show. This is Razeb Africa. Stay with us as we return next time. I am Dr. Joy Asnay.